What up, everybody? We back at it. Welcome back to the YouTube Live. Today, we are going to be talking about some vocal processing pre-mixing tips that I do with vocals. Just to kind of show you guys like some of the process that I do and how I kind of set things up for the initial mixing process. So I'll give you guys a preview of what it is.
Them squares and in my circle, they just do it cause they able. Cause in the end, with the stars in your car roof to a star with them bars laced with the hard truth. Yeah.
Situation got me vexed, perplexed, indirectly.
And then this is what's his face.
Mitigate the respect they hand out, search and lurking to flex. Call them out and they move on to the next. Small-minded MCs.
Something that I kind of wanted to talk about was pretty much things to kind of ask yourself when you're mixing. Like, for example, so since I have this beat already mixed, which I'm probably going to make some tweaks as I'm mixing the vocals, some prior questions that I always ask myself is, what do the vocals need? How am I going to mix these vocals into it? And then what kind of effects do I want to use? Right? Those are some really, really vague, not vague, but they're really preliminary type of questions. You guys got to consider, okay, when you're working with any artist, okay, some artists, like there's specifically recording engineers who do this for a living that help people at studios to record their vocals. Let's face the fact that most people don't have that luxury to go to a studio. They don't have that luxury to hire an engineer, you know, to mix down their vocals. Sorry, not mix down their vocals, but preset up their environment to, you know, record their vocals properly. So if you are at home doing vocals on your own, try to do some research on the best way you can record your vocals to get the best flat vocals out there. But at the same time, if you don't have the best environment, these little things will kind of help you process your vocals when you finally go down into the mix. All right, so next step is, let's start with what's his face. We're gonna start with what's his face's vocals. I'm gonna go dive into the DAW scene right here, and as you can see, the intro here has two stems with what's his face. So I'm gonna blow that up right now, okay? And what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna solo this part right here.
It's all in your head. I got your best intentions. There's so much chest. Let me save you from your hell. Break you out your shell. Lead you to the well. Drink if you're compelled.
The first listen, you're hearing a little bit of reverb, right? I'm not going to do too much heavy processing on like the vocals yet because I want to save that for the initial mix down of it. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go into RX8. So before I put any kind of like de-essers or anything like that, this is going to be more for preliminary vocal processing. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of some of that reverb that's on there, okay?
That's so much chest. Let me save you from your hell.
There's two ways of doing this. You can do the learn button here, or you can listen and hear it out. So right now I gave it defaults to a reduction of 12, right? But I moved it up to 8.6, or down to 8.6 rather, so that this is a little bit less sensitive. Because one thing that you guys got to consider when using something like a de-reverb is that sometimes it can take out some of the quality and the characteristic that is happening within the vocals. So you got to be careful about how you use that, okay? So one more time, I'm going to run it back.
It's all in your head. I got your best intentions. That's so much chest. Let me save you from your head.
And I'm gonna take it off just to see how it sounds.
Break you out your shell.
You notice now that there's barely any kind of reflection going back into the microphone as I have it on now. This is with it on.
Drink if you're compelled.
Okay. So now that we have that taken care of, we took out some of the reverb. I'm not gonna do too much. Like I can fine tweak it if I want to. So let me try to fine tweak it.
Head. I got your best intentions. That's on my chest. Let me save you from your hell. Break you out your shell.
Okay, I like that right there. Plosives are those are plosives, okay? B's, P's, you know, those kind of sounds that. So there's not many issues with that, at least not on this channel. So what else do I want to do? I mean, there's a little bit of noise that's happening on here. So I'm not too worried about that. What I'd like to do is I like to go in here and actually chop up the vocal so that those dead spaces that you see here aren't really much, okay? And something that I like to do is like with breaths, things like that. I like to manually turn those down, okay? And the reason why I like to turn those down is because, again, it's kind of like doing a manual de-essing, right? Sometimes when you do a manual de-ess before you actually slap another de-esser, or even if you need to slap a de-esser on there, it just helps with CPU. That, and also if you can control it, you know what I mean? All right, so let's listen to the second part, the second vocal.
It's all in your head. I got your best intentions. It's on my chest. Let me save you from your hell. Break you out your shell.
So there's nothing too wrong with these. I just did a de-reverb on it. And what I'm going to do now is just kind of give it a little bit of compression. That's it. Nothing too crazy, because the vocals are going to be, when I actually mix them, I'm going to do more compression on it. So usually when I get into a very light compression, right, I do a 0.3 of an attack, and anything over like 200 would be good on the release.
It's all in your head. I got your best intentions. That's on my chest. Let me save you from your hell. Break you out your shell. Lead you to the well.
Okay, that sounds good.
Drink if you're
I'm gonna apply it to the next vocal. Run that back one more
It's
time.
all in your head. I got your best intentions. That's on my chest.
Gonna pull back a little bit on the heavier vocal
for
the threshold. That sounds good. Remember how I was talking about workflow? So literally, I'm going to group this up because I know that I'm going to want to use this on some of his other vocals, right? So save. So it automatically goes under pre-effects or whatever. And what I'm going to do is what's his face? Fake vocal. Pre-vocal. I'm going to put it under, I'm going to mark it greens for vocal recordings and processing. And all I got to do is look for it here. What's his face? Fake pre-vocal 1. We're going to consolidate this stuff. What I'm doing is I'm freezing the tracks with the effects on there, and I'm going to flatten them out. And you see what the compressor did? I'm going to revert that really quick. So with the compressor, right? You see this wave format right here? Here, I'm going to duplicate this so you guys can look at the difference. All right, at least the first one. Let me duplicate the first one. This is before I flatten it. So this is before anything that's on there, right? And the reason why I do like a light compression is because it'll help the process like later on. You know what I mean? That means like balancing the vocals, like the peaks, all that stuff. So you'll even notice, like, as I flatten these out, some of the peaks will be turned down because of that compressor. Okay. So now if you look at this, you'll see some of the peaks and it looks like a more evened out vocal. You'll see that it looks a lot more even. And it's because that pre-compressor, that pre-vocal processing that I did on here is doing its job. So earlier in the video, we went over some preliminary things that you guys can do with your mixes. If you guys have found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and also hit that notification bell because I do this stuff live. And also, I'm live every Wednesday on YouTube, Wednesday 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Time, and I'm live on Twitch doing live feedback for you guys on your mixes, your songs, your beats, you know, all that kind of stuff. Live on Twitch Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Again, preliminary vocal processing. Try to learn how to do that kind of stuff because, again, I know that a lot of people don't have the best recording setups, so you got to work with what you have, you know what I mean? And as much as there's things we can do post-production and post-editing and all that stuff, we want to try to get the cleanest recordings and all that stuff that you can before you start doing any of these processes. So even if, like, you saw me mess with what's his face's vocals and then also Reddy's vocals, it was very different, you know what I mean? These kind of processes don't stick the same way as, like, and that goes for vocals but also on each and every song, you know what I mean? So it's going to be different no matter what. But again, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's do some more music. I'm gonna be out, and I just want to say thank you guys for joining me today on my journey on this channel, and I'll be seeing you guys again next week.
Been about it, but those that doubt it can never stop it. They try to clown it, but our design what they try to copy. The blueprint for the dudes that you're cool with, that only but a few understand what to do with. We never chase it, it come to us on a daily basis. It's all the same, only thing changing is the face.